Right, people. Hello. We're gonna go casual today.
Hey, starting already.
It's me and my boy Liez. We spent the summer together. Summer romance.
You're not sick of me yet.
Never, man. So we can. I think we can talk. There's so much for us to talk about. We can touch on DAZN. We can talk about the start to the season.
By the way, it's my first ever taste of coke. It's my first taste of coconut water. Why are there bits already in it? Is there like actual coconut in it? I thought it was like just the liquid.
What's it called?
Coconut water.
Yeah.
No, but you know what it is. Okay, like coconut. I didn't think I thought it would just be like, the water out of the coconut. They pour it in. Apparently they do shavings in it as well too. What is? You see this? That's a little off-putting. I can't lie.
Yeah, take us through.
That
was quick.
No, immediately the bits came in. Yeah, this sounds
Epic
crazy.
rant on its
Oh
way.
my goodness, that's poor, man. You know what it is? That's like matcha. I recently tried. I tried it recently.
Yeah, not for me, mate.
I think it's performative, man. I don't think people actually like it. I think they pretend to like it because that's what's popular. But it's nonsense. It tastes like grass water, man. Seriously. Don't ask me why I would know what that tastes like.
Coconut water, I had a little phase of it.
Nah.
But it was,
Woke nonsense, man.
Didn't like it. No, give it another go as the pod progresses. We'll rate it at the end.
We'll take progressive sips throughout.
Yeah, just see how you get on. Right, look, we'll go again. Hello, welcome to The Ripple Effect with me, James Allcott. And I've got my boy Liez here with me. And as I just said a second ago, but I'll say it again, because we're probably starting from here now. We're going to go casual. We're going to just chat like we did Saturday social on Saturday, believe it or not. And I've actually, as I was walking away with you, we were having a really good chat about football. And then I thought, well, that'd be nice. Why don't we just have like another conversation again? Because we actually, this thing with Saturday social that was weird was that we didn't really, there was too much to get through a little bit, which was the main kind of like take from the show, which was hopefully good for people.
Yeah.
In terms of like getting a lot of like names out there of people that people could sign. But in these two podcasts that we're going to do, we could chat about the summer, I think. We'll obviously talk about the fact that we're in the last week of the transfer window. So there are a few rumblings here and there. So we can kind of go into maybe a bit more depth with some of those. I even put out a tweet saying, what has surprised you so far this season? And I was interested by the replies to that. So we can talk about that as well. And one of those will probably lead into us talking about Man United as well, if that's okay.
That's all I talk about these days, man.
Yeah.
Season starts. Put this podcast.
Well, I was on your channel the other day.
Yeah.
And title, stop, rant. You had to let them know. Are you worried about how violent your language and aggression
Put the
is?
volume down a little bit.
Yeah, just get yourself ready.
You know what? That one was a calmer one, to be fair. It was a calmer rant.
I don't think it was too. Yeah,
it wasn't that bad. If you notice, like my voice, it was more frustration. Brother, the Europa League final one last year. Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, man.
Did you put epic before?
No, I would never.
Explosive.
Explosive. Nah, man. It's season's back. What can you say?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. Let's go back then for a sec. How did you find DAZN? I don't think I think I've spoken about it, but maybe not with other people that have been there. You've kind of just said what went on and then gone from there. But it did feel like it. Did you feel like it was making a bit of an impact at the time?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'm always wary of saying that because you just sound like a wanker, don't you?
Yeah, it really made an impact.
Yeah, it really made a cultural impact. Shut up.
I think it did though, man. Seriously, like we're not gonna toot our own horns here, right? But the comments were really receptive of it, and then even when the show ended, which, by the way, guys, I think some people thought it got cancelled. It was meant to end before the end of the season.
Yeah. It was supposed to end at the end of the group stages,
and then it actually got extended. Yeah, but it was never meant to go to the end of the tournament, right? But even once it ended, a lot of people were in the DAZN comments saying, "Where's the press? Where's the press? Where's the press? I want to learn from the press." So I think it did make a really big impact on viewers. I think people enjoyed it. I think it was interesting for them to kind of get YouTubers or content creators in an atmosphere and in a space where they could show more than just talking in front of a camera. They were given different tools. They were given a bigger stage. They were on TV. I think we did well with it. If I'm being as unbiased as possible, I think we did a good job.
It's hard, isn't it? In the moment, I was kind of. That's what I think I find mad about these things. It's actually only off the back of it that I was like, oh wow, it looks bigger when you get away from it, if that makes sense. Whereas when we're in the middle of it, we're just in a green room.
We're literally in a green room. There's that's the thing that really.
Well, I was going to say, like, what do you feel like you learned from it, and what surprised you about the whole experience?
I mean, the surprising thing was, I knew obviously these guys don't film in like some mansion with like football kits all over the place, and there's a brilliant glass window outside with the view of New York City behind. Obviously, I knew that, right? Yeah. But it's so alarming when you walk into that green room and there's nothing but like a TV screen and a sofa.
That's the
the craziest thing.
That's a great point. So for anyone who doesn't know, like, just literally imagine you're in Kermit the Frog, and then obviously if we're looking at clips, we need to look at something. Yeah. So they just put a sort of screen there, and for you there was a screen to the kind of to
you
the
say a
side
screen,
of
it's like a TV.
It's a TV
on
monitor.
A rolling on 4 wheels.
Yeah. So it kind of that's it. I guess that kind of that makes it feel cheaper than it is. Yeah, that's a good point.
It really made me, to be honest, appreciate the designers who have to like create that 4D world. Like it made me think, wow, these guys are crazy. Because when you actually see where we're sitting, it's like you're in your bedroom or something like that. Even my bedroom is a better setup than there. Like it's crazy, but that was really alarming. And I think also seeing how much work is done behind the scenes in terms of, like when we watch Match of the Day, for example, and we see these guys break down the game and they have their clips ready and stuff like that, and they have all these lines, you almost kind of like take it for granted, like, oh, I don't know, maybe during the game they just did a few things. But then getting the chance to actually go in the, what was it called? The Piero room, we were calling it, right?
So in the gallery, guys.
The gallery,
if you ever see, you see all the players that are all connected and they're running in the graphics that you see when they're talking to the clips. The one thing that was mad, which people don't know, is that we didn't have like an edit suite. So most people they'd go, well, first of all, they'd have people that would be helping them going, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen this? Have you seen that?
We didn't.
Okay, I like that, and that. Let's clip that up, and then let's go and have a look at it in the edit suite. And you take your time, and you go, actually, could we wiggle this and wiggle that? We didn't have that.
No, not at all.
We had us.
Yeah.
And then, so I was probably a bit of a taskmaster at times because I was having that panic of, we need something.
Because if you miss it,
you get one go to look at it. That was the other thing. You get one go to look at it.
But if you miss something in the game, you either have to hope that the Piero guy took note of it himself because he was probably preparing it for something else. Otherwise, that's it. You can't use that clip. Like, that's it. If you didn't write it down, it's over. The amount of times this guy, Kai, obviously your guy, Kai, make sure you're writing that down. Make sure you're writing that down. Kai must have been had that drilled in his head.
Oh, mate, poor boy.
But honestly, because of that, you're asking me like what I learned. I made it very clear, like, when I watch football, I watch it as really a fan, and I make mental notes out of things, and then I talk about it after the game. It's really as simple as that for me.
Yeah.
I've never in my life sat down and, like, with a notepad out and, like, taken notes. But the first day, I'm seeing yourself, and I'm seeing Julien Laurent, like, literally, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, you guys, how do you even enjoy the game like this? But it honestly kind of, like, drilled it in me, like, okay, let's start like writing things down. Let's and then the more you do that, the more things kind of like become clearer to you when you watch the game, because then you start noticing patterns. You identify shape at the very start of the game, and things just start like, it's like if you don't.
So did you enjoy that as it progressed?
I enjoyed
There's a balance, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, look, I love sitting down and just watching a game and just enjoying it for what it is. But it definitely opened my eyes to a new way of digesting football. And I always say this about anything in life. I think you have to surround yourself with people who view and think and do things a different way to you, because then you, by consequence, expand your horizons as well too. So for me, I think I definitely benefited from it, as naive, as different as it was for me. It was a completely foreign concept to me. Right, taking notes during a game, I'm like, how do you even enjoy this, man? Seriously.
Well, do you know what? But there is a balance, and do you know what I like? Yeah. One, talking football with you, but also I like your content, because I think it's actually something that I do maybe incorrectly sometimes. So I probably don't tell, or I wouldn't tell people about this, but like when I'm watching a game, so I did it last night. So Liverpool, Newcastle, I think you kind of create a bit of a fear or a rob for your own back, where you go, you're trying to push it and make things better. You're always trying to push. And so you then start watching the games going, oh, I need that. I need that. I need that.
You're looking for things. Yeah.
And then it's one where I'm like, I'm not really sure I've got the holistic view of the game.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, last night's game, or whenever this is being watched, that was an emotional
Liverpool,
game.
Newcastle.
Yeah, Liverpool, Newcastle was a game played on emotion. It was a game played on heart. It was a game played on narrative. And that was such a big part of the game, to the point I felt almost at times the tactical side of it became the side story, man. Seriously. Like, it became the first half. I thought Liverpool were trying to manage the emotion. Don't get sucked into Newcastle's game. Yes, obviously, they're trying to deploy Arne Slot's tactics, but all that goes out the window in that kind of pressure cooker environment.
I love that. And I think that's good that still exists. And I kind of, that was it. I can't, there was a few things yesterday I was thinking. Was one, you're right. It wasn't truly about the kind of tactics too much, because there wasn't some overpowering idea. And actually, the game has happened, and Anthony Gordon killed him.
That's one of the,
killed them.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
But so to that point, in terms of talking about making content, like, so I was sort of like, we're thinking, wow, this is a great game. Get this, get that, get this, get that. And you do get all those bits. But then as the game progressed, as much as it was an absolute classic, we found ourselves like struggling a little bit where we were like, I don't want to force some outrageous, like, how blah, blah, blah changed the game of football against 10 men when they were 2-0. Like, that wasn't it. And so we have this saying that James, who I work with, he says we don't. That's not me talking to myself. He says
my good friend James.
We don't force. Don't force it.
Yeah.
And if it feels forced, you've got to be brave enough to go, okay, we'll put it somewhere else and we'll do it a different way. Yeah. In terms of content creation, you're like, do you feel? We had chats about this a lot, didn't we? As well, it's like you got the fire right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you feel if you were able to take a second and reflect on what you've done so far? Like, what would be we're going to, on the JLA Substack, we're going to do, hopefully this week, a kind of like a one-on-one chat where I can answer questions about content creation and other things as well. Just to kind of, I guess, for you, when you think of like what you've built, how you've built it, is there one thing that you feel like has kind of become a principle for you?
A principle, like something that I live
in? Or like, oh, this is why I've got from here to here. Like, yeah. Aside from being good at talking about football.
Yeah, I'm just really telling. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I think, and I say this that
we're coming across really bad.
But I just think I'm so not. Yeah, you know what it is,
feel
right?
Like I'm having an impact.
Yeah, I really think like I'm putting a stamp on this game, honestly.
To that point, the sort of the impact thing. I'm like. I'm sort of like, again, when I got on the other side, I was reflecting and I was like, oh, no, I think people are really like buzzing about this. But I don't feel like we reinvented the wheel.
No, we didn't. No, not at all.
We just did it in our way.
Yeah. But that's, okay, so you're asking me what's my principle.
Into that was like fresh.
Yeah, but I think you're asking me what's my principle. And I think, again, I swear by this. Every person who ever asks me, what's your advice? I don't have advice. I think you have to stay true to yourself because no one is better at being yourself than you. Yeah. That's your USP right there. You have to make yourself a product effectively. So what makes me unique? I can't do things that Neve can do. I can't do things that you can do. I mean, I can try. I can definitely use the JLA tactics board. I can do my damn.
Thank you for the promo.
I can do my damn best. By the way, great tactics board. I can incorporate that in my content, right? But I cannot copy James's content. I can't. I'm not James. I'm not. So what is it about myself that I think I can sell? I can make admirable for people. I think I can talk about football in a very simple way while also making it very digestible for people and making it very entertaining. I speak with a certain passion. I like things in the game that I definitely stand true to. Like that's my thing. Like the aesthetics, the beautiful side of the game. I definitely stand by that. So I think all that to say, I'm true to myself. I don't try and be someone else. And I kind of just like nail that with everything I kind of do, whether it's podcasts, whether it's SDS, whether it's appearances on this. Just stay true to yourself. It sounds cliche, right? But,
yeah. I think it's hard to do.
But I think a lot of people try and stray away from that, man. Like, I think a lot of people see what's popping or what kind of content is working out at the moment and try to create their own version of that. Yeah. But ultimately, there's no sustainability to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm enjoying this. This is good. Should we talk about some football?
Yeah, I guess. I just came back. I was gonna say I just came back from the eye test with Cam. Right, we recorded this maybe an hour before.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to this after this, and I'm gonna go home and talk about coffee mate. No, I did that last night. Last night I came home at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so you're telling me, do I have the fire right now? I got.
Yeah, you're all right. We'll go calm.
International break, man. I can't wait.
Yeah,
for it.
You're looking forward to it. Let's kick off with some surprises. Get the juices flowing.
Yeah.
So I asked, kind of, off the cuff on the way here. So thank you everyone who kind of got involved. What has surprised you so far this season? And we've got some good ones, which I think maybe we can just have a little chat about. So, I mean, there are some Man United ones. Here's one. With that Liverpool-Newcastle game, how Ekitike has settled in so well. If you compare him to the likes of someone like Darwin Nunez, similar money and same position, but feels like Ekitike has settled at Liverpool and the league. A personal surprise for me is how mediocre Brighton have been. We usually start so well. The Ekitike, let's chat Ekitike. Are you surprised at how good he's been?
In a way, 3-3 is something I probably wouldn't have foreseen, but am I surprised that he's kind of come into the league and shown that he's a top striker? Not really. I think Ekitike, his journey to this point has almost like it's all been leading up to this. I mean, he had that early move to PSG where it was very clearly just way too early. And I mean, he had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe in front of him. And I think a lot of people discounted him from that moment on. And then he went on one loan. I think that was unsuccessful. But then he ended up at Frankfurt, where he really started to build his name up. And I think last season, right, all the talk was really about Marmoush. But I was watching Ekitike even after January, and his form really continued. Like, he really took the responsibility. Okay, Marmoush is gone. I'm going to carry the burden for this team. And I think you look at what you need from a number 9 in 2025, I really think he has a little bit of everything. He's quick, he's strong, he's very able on the ball. It's funny because, I mean, they're going to go sign Isak, or they're going to attempt to, but he is very Isak, right? So I'm not really surprised. And especially, I think you compare him to Darwin Nunez. Let's not forget where 2022-23 Liverpool were as a squad. I think it was an aging midfield. I think it was a team a bit in a flux. They needed a transition. That's not an easy environment to come for any striker. And then on top of that, I think mentally, some of the chances that guy was missing. Some of the second game, he got sent off for headbutting Joachim Anderson. Yeah. I just think it was a rough start that he never really recovered from. Whereas Ekitike is coming into a team of champions. I think it's a way better environment for any player to kind of come into. Because Ekitike, if he joins Man United, are we seeing the same version? Maybe not.
I mean, that's a great point. Like the sort of, I think that's a bit of a, not a trend, but I think it's really interesting, is the sort of the fast start you need these days. Yeah. Like there's so little patience now.
It's ridiculous.
I was thinking about this with, basically there's a golfer called Tommy Fleetwood, and he'd taken 164 tournaments to win one, and he'd sort of like wobbled at a couple when he was close. And then Rory McIlroy, that's kind of been put at him a little bit. It tells us of like this idea of sort of, has he got the mental strength? And then like these guys are like elite people.
Sportsmen,
yeah. And I just think there's such a lens on. There's like thousands of lenses, like on every action.
Yeah,
like, we're part of the problem, right?
But
we're here now.
We dramatize everything.
So it is what it is. But like, so if you come in and don't hit the ground running, so like on my video yesterday about Liverpool Newcastle, I kind of started it by going like, can we have like to your point of being true to yourself? Like, I was like, a couple of people on my team were like, look, if you want an easy life, just glaze Liverpool. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah,
I'm not doing that. That wasn't great. Like, and if my audience like doesn't want to have that conversation with me, then you're not like, where this isn't going to work. You're going to have to like. There's enough people in the world.
And there's enough content. You're going to find somebody. That
there's someone go. Like if you don't want to be there with me, I love my community, my comment section, but it's got to be right. You know what I mean? Like relationship. I'm too sensitive. Like I need that relationship to be correct. So I'm like early doors. Like, look, if you don't want to be able to have like an interesting conversation about like the grey of Liverpool right now, I think you're actually missing out.
Yeah.
Because I think Liverpool are fascinating in the sense of course they've got so many exciting players there.
Yeah.
But you can't look at that performance yesterday and go, oh, it's all clicking.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's something that, we did it on the Premier League, and it's not a bad tactic, but just I think that's why there's so much tactical stuff now, is that this, if you just go like this one thing is going to be it forever and it's going to work and it's like impenetrable, that's stupid.
Yeah, of course it's stupid. Yeah,
So,
otherwise
like,
the same team would win the league every year, of course.
So the Ekitike thing, I found myself having this new thought, and that I haven't done this for a while. Like, you're like, when you find a new thought, like that's a new place to go instead of us talking about the same thing again and again. And I was just thinking, but like with Wirtz and Ekitike, like the rotations in the Bournemouth game was really nice, but I did find myself thinking, Ekitike kind of naturally always drops in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's Wirtz's space.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it's kind of like you were saying on Sky. That's when Wirtz is meant to kind of go in behind him and stuff like that. I think with Wirtz, right? Again, I find I try and stay off social media. I know we joked about this, and you're like, "Well, how much you tweet?" I really try and stay off social media because I just think it's never been more tribalistic than it is now. Like, it just feels so. You talk about reactionary. Like, one game, Reinders is the best signing, the best Premier League debut we've seen. The next game, it's like, oh, you guys are massively overrated. He's crap or whatever. Cherokee, the way they were killing Cherokee, and then Wirtz the next day, it puts in that performance. Like, I just feel football is so much. There's so many other factors that come into play instead of, oh, he's good, he's bad, he's crap, he's amazing. And with Wirtz, I think similar to Cherokee as well too, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
There's a physical adjustment to the league that I don't think Wirtz will have ever played a midfield three of Tonali, Joelinton, and Bruno Guimaraes in his life.
Yeah.
That is the most intense midfield, maybe in world football. That's a new stage for him. He's gonna have to adjust to that.
And things like, do you know what? The game was fun, like, and it was aggressive.
You know what I said? I said it reminded me. It gave me the vibe of like a 2000s Barclays Premier League game. It was so back and forth. There was so much space. Both
little kicks
the
later
first
on.
minute, Joelinton goes in head for basically his foot at Gakpo's head. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is like Barclays 2000s right now.
Good,
I loved it. There's so much jeopardy in the game. Yeah, it was my kind of game. But,
but
for a new player to come into, that's a tough environment, man.
And I think we like you have to hold that sacred to a point. So when I see Zubamendi in the first game going, oh man. Or like Wirtz in this one going, what, we letting that go? Yeah, we are, actually. So get on with it. Like, that's all good stuff. I just wonder, I just think it's the first time, the game yesterday, that was the first time I was like, I understand why you'd want Isak more so than ever before. Now, there are the basic, obvious elements of like, look, if you've got Salah, Isak, and Wirtz in a team, then you're in a great place, aren't you? But sort of stylistically, I just felt like Wirtz had become quite sacrificial at times.
Yeah, the game almost...
Because it was like, I make a ticker and I do that. So you're going to have to do that because you've been told. And look, the goal, the second goal that they score, if you look closely, Ekitike is able to turn and drive. The reason they able to turn and drive is because Wirtz had done it again. Yeah. And Dan Burn's gone, we've got 10 men, so I have to go with this guy now. So... But I'm like...
You didn't spend 130 million for a guy who just makes off-the-ball runs for Ekitike. I hear you. So, I mean... He's more than that. Yeah, I completely hear you. Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see... I have been surprised by Ekitike.
But you know what it is as well, too? You're asking me about like a start. Me and Sharky always talk about this, right? In terms of how little football actually matters when it comes to like succeeding or not. Like football, like being good at football and like you're like that's like 20% of it. You can be like, how many signings have flopped where you look at the player and he's amazing and it just doesn't work out? Environment, I think, is so crucial. I think manager is so crucial. Luck, injuries, like I think getting off to a good start. I was so happy for Gyökeres to score 2 this weekend because I'm thinking if you don't score this weekend and you got Anfield against Van Dijk and Konate, like the longer you wait, the more the pressure builds, the more uncertain you get. I think it's really important to get off to a good start and build momentum. So I think Ekitike has just got off to a dream start. And if he doesn't score that first game against Palace, who knows how the next 2 games go.
True. And I think I have been surprised by how technically good he is.
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah.
Like it was like
that for me
some of those
little
like, even like there was one where like it was a horrible ball to him and he sort of like cushion-headed it down.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like those little one-touch ones where he goes and spins. I'm just like,
that, to be fair, I haven't been surprised. I think Ekitike, even when he was 19 years old, like he's so technically good. He's kind of like that new prototype of center forward where they're like 6 foot plus, but really gangly and technical on the football. Like you're starting to see a lot more of them. He's of that mold, man, for sure.
So I think the discussion will continue, and I like there's a lot of meat on the bone there of like when we get to March. Like, what will be okay, it's a big game. All right, so let's sit down. Like, this is the team.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that.
That's another thing, too, right? We're talking about what does it take to be a success in this league. I mean, Isak comes in. How does that completely change Ekitike's time at Liverpool now? He's been the focal point for 3 games in a row. He's reaped the rewards. Isak comes in. Yeah, people are telling me, okay, you can play on the left or whatever. That's a totally different game right there.
Do you want to be crowbarring? Like, I'm not sure you want to be.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out. But I'm not of the belief that you just bring in Isak and Ekitike, nothing happens. Like he's gonna just continue playing the same way. No, it's gonna change a little bit.
And also, so we had Troy Deeney in last week, and it was what was great about the pod. And I do want to quickly say, like, there's a lot of heat on Troy. Like the comments weren't the nicest, and I appreciate Troy's kind of got a bit of a persona, but we actually talk about that in the podcast.
Yeah.
And I would implore people to kind of give Troy a chance. Like he's honestly become he's a really, really,
that's
really
the problem with people, right? When people have an opinion on you, it's very, very difficult to change it. Like when you kind of like, again, I keep bringing back references. Me and Cam, we just did the eye test, right? We're talking about Gabriel and Saliba, and we're talking about Gabriel about the last 3 years. He hasn't really set a foot wrong, right? But we still have in the back of our minds, like, oh, is there an error in him? Like, why don't we call Gabriel the best center back in the league? Or why don't we say he's been better? He's probably been better than Saliba over the last years.
Easy.
But we don't talk about it like that because I think he set himself a reputation at the start of his Arsenal career. And yes, like he's kind of moved past it, but it's always playing on our minds.
I think he's a little bit more aggressive as well. He's a bit more barky.
But I think because we saw the errors in his first few seasons, but over the last 3-4 years, I can maybe name the mistakes Gabriel has been responsible on one hand.
Yeah.
But I think when you, similar to Troy now, like when people have an opinion on you, it's very difficult to change. Because I agree, I watched the podcast. I think Troy Deeney, every time I kind of listen to him, he comes across quite well. But now people, the first thing they think of is, oh, he thinks he's way better than he actually is. Well, actually, no, he said, I played against City and I felt like I was out of my depth. That's the opposite.
I think on a level, like, the point is, the point that I wanted to make was that, and another thing, I would definitely go watch SAS Who Dares Wins this year, because he's in it. And I think you see the guy I've met this year.
Yeah.
And who he was and what was working for him in that like alpha male environment. That worked. That got him to where he needed to be.
Of course.
He himself has realised that he doesn't need to do that anymore. And yeah, he's a good lad. So yeah, just give him a break. But what was really interesting about that pod was he kind of kept coming back to team dynamics a lot of the time. So that's the other thing I wonder with Ekitike and Isak. Like if Ekitike has been brilliant, and then at some point it's a bit like Ramsdale and Raya in the sense of like someone's got to sit down.
I'll tell you what, I'm of the opinion. I think the goalkeeper point you made is brilliant, because I think 2 positions on the pitch, I don't believe in rotation. I think center forward and goalkeeper, you have one guy. I remember when Arteta came out with that nonsense saying, oh, we might rotate. Please do me a favor, man. Seriously. Like, but it's the same with center forward, right? Everyone always brings up Alvarez and Haaland played. Like, no, Haaland played in every big game he was available in. Alvarez either played alongside him in a different position
against
in the 10 or in the games where they didn't need Haaland.
Yeah.
Alvarez was never starting over Haaland. They don't rotate the two of them. It's like when he either plays alongside him or he's out the team. Yeah. So, look, could it be different with Ekitike? 100%, because maybe you just try shoehorning him on the left permanently. But this idea that they're going to play
two of good.
Oh, Gakpo's. I think he's becoming the forgotten man. Yesterday, I thought he was unreal. Yeah. Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to, but then again, you spent a lot of money on Verts.
I don't believe in this idea of, unless you're playing 4-4-2, I don't believe in it. You got one guy. If Isak is scoring every game, you're going to take him out for Ekitike one random game? No, you're not.
But and even if you're getting like, it depends on what the game is. But there will be the big games, and you'll either get 60 minutes or you get 30 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
And I think when you then go back to like the environment, naturally, I'd be annoyed. Like anyone's going to be annoyed, because like I've come here and I want to play and I know I'm good enough to impact a game. Like you want that kind of mentality. But that's something. These are all the things that's why I didn't have Liverpool winning the league, because I just think there's so much change there that I think it will take a minute, because the kind like there was, again in my video, there was the one where like Konate looks up and everyone, like even Szoboszlai, who he knows, he's playing right back.
Yeah.
So everyone he knows apart from Salah. Sorry, everyone that he can see in front of him, apart from Salah, is someone kind of new. So it's just not ingrained. Yeah. And the goal comes from Harvey Elliott coming towards him, and Konate knows, oh, I know, I give it to you, don't I? Mm-hmm. And he plays the Gravenberch, and he plays it in, and then all of a sudden they got 5-4. That goal was a team that knew how to pop it, and you had players that had kind of been there a year.
Yeah,
and I think it made a bit of a difference.
I think as well too, Slot's trying to create a new team in general, right? Like, let's be real, last season he did an amazing job, but he did it with the remains of Klopp's team. Now this is fully what we're seeing become an Arne Slot team. And I find it fascinating how often he keeps referencing PSG. I don't know if you notice his interviews, he references them so often. Really? I almost feel like he really admires, first of all, the way they beat them last season, but also just the way they play football. And when I look at the way he's trying to transition this team into one where it's like a lot more fluid, a lot more focus on technical footballers, I see him, like he was even saying it with Carragher, right? Like, I want my team to take more risks this season. So is this by design and it's just going to take more time to find the balance, or is it just early days? We'll see.
I think you would imagine they would only get better.
It has to be. Yeah. I would assume so as well too.
It's just how long will it take them to get over there? And also you've got things like, like the injury, the fullback areas, I'm just not totally sold on.
Kerkez for me is a weird one, the way he's being played right now.
Yeah.
That for me is bizarre. That's the one I'm really questioning, because every time I watched Kerkez last season at Bournemouth, high-flying, aggressive, like almost like a wing-back, whipping crosses in. And this year I'm seeing them in build-up. He's playing almost as a left center-back.
Yeah.
He's making inverted runs so Gakpo can hold. I'm like, is this the idea? Like, I remember you made an earlier video about how Liverpool could look, and Gravenberch would drop deep, and Kerkez and Frimpong would be wingbacks and almost like a 3. And I was thinking, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
This I could not see whatsoever, and I think he's actually struggled a little bit in the first 3 games, Kerkez.
Well, my thought on it is that, say you play that position,
Yeah,
and you play it brilliantly,
sure.
or you play it brilliantly. Even if you play it brilliantly, you're not doing much.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I
You're not
agree.
like, there's not all the like exciting bombing on bits.
Yeah, but that's Kerkez's game. Like, my whole thing is like, if that was the idea for what you wanted from your left back, surely a different player to Kerkez would have been like,
You go
why
get,
Kerkez?
Yeah. Like, there's like Hincapi.
Yeah,
or like
Hincapie,
Hato or-
that looks like 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
It's a weird one for me.
It's
Yeah.
another one that, I'm intrigued to see him like figure out.
Mhm.
Also, even like, but I guess the problem you have is, say like Frimpong goes high and Salah can come in.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do that with Gakpo.
Yeah. No, you can't.
So you'd have, because you could have played Joe Gomez right back and not played, or put Sabozzo somewhere else, and you could have gone, Kirk, as you go. You can go up there.
Mhm.
But he didn't want to do that. Which look, you've got to always back on the slot. Like,
Of course,
presume he knows
yeah.
what he's doing.
He's got
It's
a
just
lot
you're
of
not
credit in the
seeing
bank
it.
right now.
Yeah. Mahad Farah says, Thomas Frank is something else, man. The way he changed Spurs from less defensive minded to perfect in all over the ground. Sorry, not great. Is absolute genius. Also, I think Emery's Villa has run its course. That's a big.
I had the same hot.
Cool.
I said the hot take before the end of the season, before the start of the season. My
Well,
hot
you're not
take was
feeling
that
Villa?
Emery will either leave or something will happen. He won't be Villa manager next season. I don't think Villa this season will perform as well as the last 2 years. I think missing Champions League last season was so big for them, man. Seriously, from the financial point of view, they've really been hampered. Like, for me, when I saw the statements by John McGinn and I think it was Mings when Jacob Ramsey was sold, and the language that they were using, a lot of it was like, it's a shame it had to end this way, and like the club have made this like. That's a signing they were probably forced to make. They probably didn't want to make that signing. I think the players aren't happy with it either. I just look at their business in general, and I think people also forget Villa first half of the season last year were around 9th place, right? And then Rashford and Asensio came in and really kind of kick-started their season again. Those two haven't been re-signed yet. So it's largely last season's team minus Duran, minus Rashford, and minus Asensio. I think that's big losses.
I get it. I sort of went the other way initially. I was on this like continuity trip where I was like, everyone's there, everyone's still there, everyone's been there for a while, they all know each other, so that will lead to them being just fine. Mm-hmm. But I can understand there is this sort of
feels stale.
Yeah,
a lot of people saying that. It feels a little stale.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the Newcastle game you had a man sent off.
But I think Newcastle, if Isak is playing that game, Newcastle win. Elanga and Gordon, the chances they missed, I think Newcastle were the better team that game. And then you lose to Brentford, who realistically you should be walking all over.
And the Brentford game was mad. Like, Brentford played so long. Yeah. I think I saw like Kelleher made one short pass and 24 long passes. So they were kind of like, they were being smart to what they felt like they had. And you got Thiago up front, so, do it. Like, I get it. But Villa had a lot of shots in that game. Here we go. I've got it here. So, because they've been linked with, sort of being linked with Asensio and Nkunku as a couple of options.
They've been linked with Jackson, but I think Jackson to Bayern, it seems, he's been linked with 5
Newcastle,
different clubs, right? Newcastle as well too.
They where is it? There you go. Managed 17 shots against Brentford with only 2 on target. And they're playing McGinn and
he's playing as a
wing. Right wing. I don't really getting it at the moment. Yeah, it does feel off, doesn't it?
It feels stale for me. It's like I've seen this team now for 3 years, and like you want to be progressing every single season. I don't feel like the team is any better than it was last year. I don't think Aston Villa's squad is a better squad than it was last year. And it's crazy because we think of that last Champions League game against PSG where they went out, but they were exhilarating. You almost think like, I wish they could have built on that. But obviously, I mean, that decision at Old Trafford, I think has royally screwed them, man. Seriously, because you think about if they have Champions League money, they can maybe even entice Rashford to come back. Who knows? They bring a few more people through the door. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I was kind of doing this last week where it was like, well, it's only one game.
Yeah, no, and I'm very careful as well too to not go too overboard. Like Arsenal, the first week against United were so bad, and I'm trying to think. I'm like, don't overreact, right?
Yeah,
like it's gonna get better. This is the floor of how bad it can possibly be, but. I don't know with Villa. I've just had an off feeling about them all season, all summer, to be honest with you.
Edward Height, Everton's transfer business has surprised him. I mean,
Kai, get off your burner, man.
Yeah. It's a new world for Everton.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that they're bringing in. The Grealish one, I saw like, I messaged Kai. I was like, how have you won that? If you watch it, watch the highlights of it. Like, I watched this. So with the Premier League, you get access to these like 26-minute highlights, which is quite good. So you can kind of get a good feel of the game. And I was like, oh, Grealish, 2 assists. Wow. Like he's cooking. But like, the second one in particular was like, he was just like laying off to go.
You know how I feel about these assists, man.
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
You know where I stand with this GA nonsense, man. Seriously.
Yeah,
I mean, that
true.
Second one, come on. He lays a...
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, what? His weight of passes. He couldn't have scored without it. Come on, man.
No, you're right. I mean, the first one's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But this is I think like the flip-flopping, until the data like comes in more and more, we're all kind of like exploring and guessing a little bit. But like Brighton should have been 2 up at least. Like Welbeck's missed an absolute sitter. And I just think like sometimes there's games where it's just, first game at the stadium, like it was just like the football gods were kind of in your favour.
That stadium is amazing, by the way. It looks so nice.
It does look good, man.
I'm a fan.
And with the players they brought in.
It feels theirs as well too, right? West Ham, I mean, they've been in the Olympic Stadium for how many years? Like 6 years now. Probably more. No, it's been way more now.
Yeah.
It still doesn't feel like West Ham Stadium. It still feels like they're just like borrowing it from somebody.
I think a lot of people have kind of learned from that.
Yeah.
And gone.
That's like do not do what West Ham did. That stadium has no soul. They're so far away from the pitch.
So far.
I've been to that stadium a few times. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like,
have you been to many like around Europe? Like,
yeah.
Like, because whenever I haven't been to enough games in Europe, but like, it always feels like sometimes it's quite far away.
Sometimes, yeah, like the San Siro, like Italian grounds especially. Italian grounds especially. But yeah, that's the vibe I get from West Ham. And then on top of that, at least in Europe, right, even the San Siro, the atmosphere, the fans are so passionate that even though they might be a little bit further away, you can really, like, it's a roar.
Yeah.
West Ham, I mean, first and foremost, they have nothing to be happy about anyways, so it's not like they're really creating too much of an atmosphere anyways. And then when you're that far away, you almost feel disconnected. Like, at times you're struggling to see, man. Seriously, it's
so far. It's so
bad,
far
seriously.
But like, I mean, they've had a couple of European nights where like it's been rocking, but that's obviously the exception, and that they're in a funny place, West Ham.
They haven't, I don't know, like there's just no identity to that club. Yeah, that team right now. Yeah,
I struggle to see him getting out of this predicament.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know if he's also got the character as well too, which I hate really attacking people for that. But this is when you really need a strong manager, in my opinion, to get you out of this kind of situation. And I think Graham Potter has. Honestly, it's sad to see how his rep has kind of failed the last few seasons, because I remember at Brighton, man, like the conversations we were putting this guy in, it wasn't a coincidence, but yeah, man, this for me is where you need somebody with a real personality to kind of dig you out of this hole, and I'm not sure if that's Graham Potter.
Yeah.
But as for Everton, I mean, you talk about personality. Well, David Moyes, they could do with him, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. They're like, I think they're gonna have you wondered if they'd have a good season. It was a bad. See, that's the thing. Look, Everton lost the first game to Leeds and looked awful.
Horrible.
So this game, in truth, they weren't outrageously good, and Brighton should have been 2-0 up. So like that's the thing here. I think like the theme of today is, for God's sake, get a win. Like,
I think.
However, like obviously we'll get to Man United, but like it's the same with like. And you can laugh at this as much as you want.
I've seen you guys as well too, huh?
Mate, fuck me.
My goodness.
Fuck me.
I was Cam as well too. Cam is local
mate,
QPR,
Cam,
right?
Mate, I was Cam. Cam's going to be on a pod soon, so I don't want to burn the bridges, because I'm looking forward to having a chat with Cam.
You say that QPR link is
I was just
fugazi.
like, you can't
when it does him well, he's a QPR through and through. When not, you wouldn't even know.
What did he message? I'll tell you what he messaged.
I think he said like crying emojis or something like that, right?
He messaged me and he said...
Oh, he messaged you.
He messaged that it was a little bit. I don't know if he knows this. But I went, where's it? Here you go. Where are we? Because I keep saying, oh, you going next week? He went, no, the 19th. He keeps saying the wrong name. Mate, where is it? What's happened to my club? He said, Cam, you can't have, like, I have to deal with this year on year. Right, I've got to swallow these. You don't get them, Cam.
I've lived next to Loftus Road more recently than he has, bro. I was in Shepherd's Bush a few years back, man.
But man, like, if you live near it, that's not it.
No, my point is, I'm more QPR than he is, man, at this point.
I said you're not allowed 2 clubs, Cam. Both are a mess, but you must choose. It's a blessing. I mean, I can't have 7-0 twice in 3 years. It might be me. I went, Man United's the better career choice. Mate, but like, what I do absolutely appreciate, and I think all football fans can appreciate right now, like, you know, Man United, Everton get the win, and it's like, forget about the performance. Release the valve, like, we're off and running, right? Some of those promoted teams, to get that first win, that first game, absolutely enormous. Like, for me, I'm like, fucking win a game. I don't care.
Fergie used to say the season doesn't properly start until after the first international break. Before that, just win games, and then you start learning about who you are as a team. Then how you play starts to really matter. But the first 3 weeks, you just got to put points on the board.
Yes, I mean that feels easier said than done.
Oh, 100%. When you're Sir Alex with Ronaldo and Rooney, yeah, of course, just win. Of course. But I think there is some truth to it in terms of like, yes, Arsenal were garbage at Old Trafford, but if Arsenal now they beat Leeds the next week and now they go to Anfield and get a good result, no one remembers that. Totally. Yeah, it's in the back mirror.
That's exactly it, man. And that's what I thought last week. Last week I was cool with the Man United hype or general optimism, but I thought that digging out Arsenal too much, I thought was silly.
You know what it was of Arsenal though? I was just like, how were they that bad? Like that's the worst they've played in like 5 years. I was so, and I was like, was it us that made them play that bad? Did they just have a horrible day? I found it really difficult to analyze them. I was like, nothing went right for them. Rice looked so off his game, which for me, okay, I can understand this guy playing poorly. Rice for me is like the epitome of at least 7 out of 10. When he is kind of floundering, I was like, this is bizarre.
I think the thing you would have seen, I guess, and this is the thing that like the recency bias, just like, and I find myself when you're going, okay, well, you're always trying to figure out hang on, let me settle. What's the truth here?
Yeah.
I find myself, and maybe this is something I need to be careful of, is like, I just go the other way a little bit. And I think Liverpool was so exciting going forward. And then Man City was so exciting going forward.
You then look at Arsenal and you're like,
you then go, but I mean, they were really stagnant. And I think you were thinking, look, if you want to win the league, you got to be able to like be good from an attacking point of view, and they weren't.
Yeah. And even defensively, I know they didn't concede, but I don't think that was the game plan for Calafiori and Timber to get ripped. I think honestly, it was probably just a really bad day at the office, mixed with United, first day at Old Trafford, the atmosphere and all that stuff. I hear it, and then.
But that's a good sign. There can be different good signs in weaknesses. So, like for example, Liverpool poor, but they have individual attacking quality that can get them out of trouble probably. Yeah. So they've been able to score 4 goals, then 3 goals. Of course. Okay, against 10 men, but like still, they got 4 goals obviously in the first game. For Arsenal, I think the thing that is just being utterly forgotten is that. So Arsenal were awful from an attacking point of view against Man United. Yeah. They won the game. Yeah. They didn't concede a goal. Yeah. They only need 1 goal. Yeah. So only needing 1 goal. Yeah. Like you can be ugly and just score. Like if you can get yourself a set piece goal, you still walked away.
Of course.
With the 3 points.
I think my worry was like, is this a sign of things to come, or is it just is this something to be worried about long term, or is it really just a bad day at the office? If it's a bad day at the office, then yeah, that's an amazing result. Forget about it. And we saw against Leeds, maybe it is just a bad day at the office.
And look, and again, we still don't know the truth from that side of it. Yeah. Actually, with Flav on Jaffa, I went, have a look at the Premier League opening day fixtures last year. Who won there actually had a good season? Aside from Liverpool, who actually had quite a bad first half, but then beat Ipswich in the second half, who finished on 20-something points. We won against
Fulham and then finished 15th.
Exactly. I think Spurs lost, to be fair. But aside from that, it was pretty.
Spurs drew to Leicester.
That's it.
Yeah, Chelsea lost at home to City and ended up finishing 4th.
So it was, but it was like there was no correlation really.
No, not really. No.
So it is one where like I just feel like there's a lot of knee-jerk stuff. In fact,
City last season started the season on fire, and then look at how they kind of fizzled out with injuries. Yeah,
and then the Leeds thing is, and again, look, it's Leeds at home, so a newly promoted team, obviously playing at home, but
all that stuff.
But they did thump them.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's like I think you got to take all these things into account, and like last week, I think if you said, "How's everyone looking?" You go, City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
I was going Liverpool. So I started the season before ball was kicked, Liverpool, Arsenal, City. After the first week, I think I went Liverpool, City, Arsenal, based on just like how is my
this is great. Yeah.
And now I'm looking at like Arsenal, Liverpool, City. Honestly, it changes every week, man. Seriously. I will say about Arsenal though, right? First of all, I think the Eze signing is huge because one thing I said after the United game, I said I think if they don't manage to bring in an Eze or a Rodrigo, I don't see the side getting over the line.
Yeah, there's not enough spark.
There's not enough. Yeah, exactly. Ingenuity, right?
Yeah.
Them bringing in Eze, I think it could change everything. And you know, one thing I really have like learned. You're talking about surprises, right? The first 2 weeks, and maybe it shouldn't be a surprise because I think we really saw it start last season when Pep mentioned Bournemouth and Brighton and Newcastle, and he said these teams are redefining the Premier League with their transition play. And I look at football now as well too. The first 2 games, right? And that's the trend now. That's the trend. These teams in transition can kill you. The way Pep dominated the league for the last 6 or 7 years, I don't want to say it's history, right? But the new meta almost seems to be defend in your 4-4-2 mid-block and then just hit you when you win the ball up high with lethal transitions. I mean, Glasner with Palace is a master at it. Spurs, I think, put on a masterclass in terms of it. You look at Newcastle against Liverpool, and I think that's why I'm looking at Arsenal now, right? Because first and foremost, I look at Arteta and the way he's building his team. I think he's starting to now embrace a bit more of a transitional game with Gyökeres and now with Eze as well too. Can carry the ball. Gyökeres likes running into space. But also, when I think who can deal with transitions defensively the best out of those 3, I think it's Arsenal. I think it's Arsenal out of the 3. So they don't excite me the most out of the 3.
That's not the point.
That's not what wins you the league, right? You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm sort of. That's what I was. That's where my gut is this year.
Yeah. But I didn't see it until for me the Eze signing. That is for me. I was like, okay, that changed it. But if they didn't sign Eze, I still think going forward it still feels like last season.
I agree.
Now with that, it's like that's a new X factor you introduce.
And Dowman.
I mean, that kid is like it's crazy that like
it's heartbreaking somehow. Like, do you know what I always think about when these new guys come rock up? I go. I think back to I remember Wayne Rooney like. Rocking up, scoring at 16, and I remember thinking I was like doing my A-levels, and I was like, he was like 6-7 months older than me, older than me, and I was like, I had this bizarre thought of like, right, I've got 6 months to sort of become a pro footballer. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you know when you're like 7, 8, 9, 10, what do you want to be? I want to be a footballer.
Yeah.
And then you sort of slowly go, I'm slow.
Yeah.
And you realise that. But like, I still had that moment like, right, we're running out of time.
We're running out of time. Well, you're at your A-levels.
But like, I think that like any 15-year-old out there, like that is not fair.
They're starting younger and younger, man. Seriously. I actually think there's going to be a moment this season, right? This is easy enough I say it's easy enough. Nwaneri set the record a few years back at 15. I think he gave him like 5 minutes versus Brentford. And we didn't see him again for the rest of the season, by the way, right? That was his one appearance of the year. He introduced him with like 30 minutes left. And I think he's going to introduce him more and more. And I actually think there's going to be a point this season, similar to Liverpool yesterday, where Slot brings on Rio to change the game. I think there's going to be a period this season where Arsenal are drawing 1-1 with 30 minutes left on the clock. And he brings on Dowman to change the game. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the moment where I'm like, football is messed. How are you bringing a 15-year-old to save your team? That's where I'm going to be like, this is a different sport that I'm used to watching.
Yeah, because I think...
Because it's one thing just giving him charity minutes at the end. When he starts bringing him on to change games for him, that's when we're going to start thinking, oh my goodness, we're looking at something different here.
And is that...
child cruelty?
Yeah, is that child slavery? Yeah, no, it's more like... But what is that saying about the game? Like, is it saying we've sort of maybe these guys are so young, they're in this sweet spot of sort of modern day coaching where they're able to steal a march on these other guys. Yeah. The other thing I would chuck out there is the physicality and the contact of football has maybe like overall either become fair or died down.
It's interesting because I think the game is more intense and athletic, but I think it's also less physical and like, for example, Dowman, if he enters a Premier League game in 2006, I'm not trying to say athletes in 2006 are better now, but like he's probably getting bodied. Like that Anthony Gordon tackle probably happens a whole lot more 20 years ago, right? Yeah, you're protected a little more by the referees, 100%. Yeah,
I remember that. Like, and obviously this is when the game was different.
Yeah. Back in my day, man.
Back in my day, mate. You'd have these lads who were like, they just looked 35. Yeah. Do you know they remind me? They looked. Some people will know this name. You won't. You might do. Andy Hessenthaler. There was this guy, right? There was this guy. He played for Gillingham till he was like nearly 40, and he had a face that was just quite weathered.
Yeah.
And he played centre midfield, and I'd play centre midfield against older guys like that when I'm like 21.
Yeah.
At 21, 22. And I remember you'd go, oh no. And like about 10 minutes in, you knew the first time you got the ball,
he's gonna
however quick you got rid of it, he's absolutely munching you. And then it's just on your mind.
Yeah, 100%.
But these 15-year-olds, they're not afraid.
Yeah, because
no one's munching them.
Yeah.
No one's munching
If anything,
now.
you look at how he won his penalty. I mean, they're like backing off him and stuff like that. I'm like,
he dived. Let's be honest.
I agree.
He should be better.
But you know what I was thinking about
Where
that?
are the
That
morals?
reminded me in the Prem back in the day. David Weeder.
Yeah.
Big head, man. Oh my God.
I always have a theory on that centre back, like, well, maybe less so now, but like proper centre backs have big old heads.
Yeah,
nice,
man.
strong
Vinny
foreheads.
Company, man.
Yeah, like Neil Ruddock, like, bomb. It's like a just straight, like perfect for like downward heading.
Yeah, skirtle. Yeah.
But yeah, like, that's it. It's interesting how a season like starts to like reveal itself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying. That's what the space I'm in at the moment is like. Oh, what can we see like forming? Like, when did we know Salah was going to be like outrageous last year?
Last year.
Yeah. Or like, and so this year, it's amazing. Like a week ago, we go, this Arsenal team's not going to score goals.
Yeah.
And then, and again, maybe we're just getting caught in the recency bias.
Yeah.
But you go, oh, Eze and Max Dowman and Wanyeri. I mean, look, Saka's got injured now, so that's something they've got to deal with. So in a week's time, this might all age horrifically.
as well too, yeah.
Madueke, that's looking. See, all of a sudden you're going, that's why you needed Madueke. You need a guy to play on the right or play on the left. But yeah, it's an interesting one. West Ham, we were chatting about there for a second. I did want to get your take on this. They've been linked with Rabiot. So on Saturday we were saying, that was one of my 10.
Yeah.
I put forward Conor Gallagher, who's being linked with Palace.
Yeah.
And Palace, I think, in this week are obviously need to get spending. But in terms of Rabiot, he probably, well, obviously I've seen a lot of them.
That is
but
the
like,
last thing West Ham need, man. Seriously.
just like,
you add a Rabiot and his mother to that. That's a package deal, man. They come together. You add a Rabiot to that environment already. Oh, that's a recipe for disaster, man. I don't think so. I think that's the last thing West Ham should be looking for. I'm not a huge fan of Rabiot anyways, but
as a player,
just in general, everything that comes with Rabiot, like I'm not a fan. I don't think he's that great either. Like I see him for the French national team. Deschamps seems to love him, but I think he's okay. Seriously. Do
you know what I think with the French team? He goes, because he is talented.
Yeah.
And these, it's the French national team and they're so good. He behaves himself.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
Because he's like, I probably shouldn't be.
But you don't remember the World Cup in 2022 when he was not included in the team, but he was shortlisted as like a backup. He refused to be. He said, I refuse to be like on the call up. Like in terms of like there's 23 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like 5 on standby. He refused to be on standby. He says no. Like that's crazy. But you know what it is?
That squad that year.
When they won the World Cup, no, 2018 I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry,
he refused to be on the standby list. But he's to them what Matuidi used to be, right? You have Pogba, you have Kante. You need someone who can just, but he's happy to do his role, runs tirelessly, wins the ball, and then gives it to the more talented players. Yeah. That's what Rabiot does for the team.
But that's why this is a disaster.
Yeah.
Because if he steps into this, it's like those team dynamics. He'll think trust me, I've seen it.
Yeah. But this screams West Ham for me, Rabiot. In terms it's a signing they make, Ham, but it's a West Ham signing because it happens and it doesn't work out. Yeah, I would stay away from this
doesn't work out for me at all.
Gallagher, man, that's proper West Ham, right? But that's what this is where I feel like West Ham go wrong. I feel like they're in an identity crisis. West Ham fans want to play this beautiful style of football. That's why they didn't want David Moyes. They want to play fun, free-flowing football, but that's not you guys. Like, who are the 2 most successful West Ham managers of the last 15 years? Maybe the 3. David Moyes, Sam Allardyce, Slaven Bilic. When you go for Pellegrini or when you go for Gianfranco Zola, it doesn't work out, man. But I think you have to accept that at some point. Like, I felt with Stoke. Remember they had that really good period in the Prem. The minute they tried to sway a little bit away from that. No, but I don't think they should. They finished. They won a European trophy with David Moyes. Yeah. And I'm not saying they should have stuck to David Moyes to the end of time.
I think
but you can't go from Moyes to Lopetegui to Potter. It's a complete identity crisis they're having at the moment.
Yeah. I think you do need a good West Ham team, an actually good one, not this we want to pop it about.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure West Ham fans even care about that.
What? My team doesn't have to have the ball. Like, okay, I'm not saying accept horrible football. I get that, but I think there's this idea in a lot of football fans' minds about how their team should play.
Yeah.
When in reality, there's numerous ways to skin a cat. I think that's
no.
really
I agree.
reality.
I agree, and I think I agree with the idea that look, David Moyes has been there a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a change.
100%, I agree.
But I think what Lopetegui felt subdued.
Yeah.
And that kind of led to the team not feeling like they had energy. And the one thing that David Moyes has is he's happy for. He likes players to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just gone and signed Grealish. He's got Njai in the team.
Yeah.
But he wants the mix.
Yeah.
So he also has Beto or Barry up, it's Barry, isn't it? Up top. Or like Dewsbury Hall, who's a little mix of both. Or like, he likes a James Garner. He likes a just, like, there's a metal there.
He liked Fornals, he liked Paqueta, but you got to put him next to Thomas Suchek. Of
yeah,
course,
or Antonio up top as well. Like the guys that like, sometimes it's not all about, there are good footballers and there's being good at football.
Yes.
And you need a mix of both, I think. And I think
the players that West Ham, remember Yarmolenko, Haller, like they're good, they're talented players. Haller has had a great career.
Yeah.
But there's always all reliable Mikel Antonio, man. That's what West Ham need, right? Not Mikel Antonio, but that's
there's an answer there. There's an answer there if you look close enough. Yeah, for sure. And I think, and that's, do you know what? That's why your best player is Jarrod Bowen, who is like 100% every single game. And he's got talent.
Yeah.
So I understand why Potter came in. You thought, okay, we'll get us popping it a bit, and then we'll control the game a little bit. And you had some of those players, but you can't substitute for you, especially in this league now.
And I just think
you need those legs,
like
man.
you're taking over a team that 6 months ago was employed by David Moyes, and you're going to Graham Potter 6 months later. That's 180 of a shift in terms
personality-wise,
personality, ideology, like. It has to make sense. Like, if you're hiring Graham Potter, your recruitment has to match that. When you hire him, probably it comes into play as well, too. I just think that's way too 180 of a shift in manager. Like, that reminds me of what United do in terms of we go from Van Gaal to Mourinho to Oli to Ten. It's just, it's not cohesive.
Yeah. Can we talk Donnarumma? That's what spawned our chat, didn't it? On the way out Saturday social. Because he has like said goodbye, hasn't he?
It's crazy. I've never seen a player like put out a statement thanking the fans, then actually thanking the fans in person. He's gone, but he doesn't have a club. Like that's bizarre to me.
I guess slight tangent. Speaking of like players leaving or players signing, all the Eze stuff.
Yeah.
Is that cringe to you, or do you like it?
In terms of like the interview, like the thing
all
right
of it
and stuff like that.
Let it all work out.
I love the announcement. I loved it. I can't lie.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was nice.
And
then though, when I can't lie, the one thing that cringes me out a little bit, because he's a fan, I get that, right? I think the one thing I don't like about all of this is how it's like, welcome back home. Like, nah, man. This is like you kick your son out the house at 18, go get a job or whatever.
13.
Yeah, 13 even. You kick him out the house at 13. He goes from home to home. He gets rejected from home to home. He's in the, I don't know, and then finally he gets his life together.
My team let him. My team said, come here, mate.
Exactly. You welcomed him in. He found himself. He became a man and stuff like that. And then it's like, oh, you finally fixed your life together. Welcome back, son. Welcome home. That for me is crazy. This ain't a welcome home, man. This is like when Man United welcomed back Pogba after basically kicking him out the back door. That's not a welcome home, man. Like,
great point.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, right?
That's so good.
The sickest thing about all of this is like you see how much he loves Arsenal. He does, right? Yeah. Like I don't know if you saw the bit where Righty's showing him the honorary message. He's like, chill. Like it's so emotional for him, right?
Yeah.
And I think they almost let this guy go to Spurs.
Mate, what did you see Arteta? I don't think Arteta should have done this. I think this was a little bit indulgent, just to give that to the world. But he basically said that Eze called Arteta.
Yeah. He called me. Like, you sure there's not? Are you positive you can't sign me?
I mean, it all felt. I'm like, oh no, don't chill, don't beg it. Like, it was a bit like that. Like, all right, you can come in. I'm like, oh no, don't say that, Arteta. Just let it be. I'm curious. Do
you really think it's because Havertz went down that they signed him, or do you think this was the plan all along? Because if so, why did they wait that long?
Yeah. I think it probably. I mean, it's very tight.
The timing. Yeah, I mean, but then if Eze is what wins you the league, effectively the only reason you win the league is because Havertz went down.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
The ripple effect.
Yeah, the ripple effect.
No, a bit like I'd sort of turned on him. I'd literally done my own little rant to Flav.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but saying like they've made such a mistake here. They need that kind of player.
Agreed.
And Flav's just gone, yes, because he thinks he's got him.
Fuad, oh my God, you didn't see Fuad.
Oh,
Fuad recorded a video in advance for Eze signing that will never see the light of day.
Have you got any of them?
Huh?
Mudryk, I've got Arsenal.
In terms of like a video I made that never came out.
Yeah, never came out.
Nah, me, I'm very like when something happens, then react. I can never. I would be too annoyed if I recorded all of that.
I think it was. I can't remember. It might have been an international break or something like that, and maybe not. But we were just like we wanted to get ahead of the Mudryk one because it felt like it was done. And yeah, fortunately,
Mudryk to Arsenal.
Yeah, never
Mudryk,
saw the light of day.
I mean,
crazy,
he's never seen the light of day. Seriously, where is he?
Yeah. Yeah, Donnarumma. I mean, we don't talk about goalies for too long. It's boring, isn't it? But
yeah, we made the mistake of talking about goalies too much.
Where will he end up? Would you have him at Man United?
If we just look at him as a goalkeeper without anything else, yes, I would. We currently employ 2 goalkeepers. Seriously, that look, I know this is a PG podcast. We're professionals. Like we said, we're professionals now, mate. Right?
Yeah. We're making cultural impact.
Bayender, man. I don't know where we got this guy from. And then Onana just has been a disaster. So Donnarumma is a clear upgrade on both of them. But then when you look at the wages for a goalkeeper, I mean, he'd come in and probably be in our top 3 earners. And I think United is trying to sway away from that at the moment. And I can understand completely why, right? Like Chelsea, this is probably a signing under Abramovich. They probably make on day one. I think they're trying to stay away from that, which is why it's interesting to me that City are the ones who appear the most likely to bow down to his wage demands. Yeah, the thing with Donnarumma, I'll be real. I've never been a huge fan. I can 100% accept last season he was outstanding. Outstanding. I don't think they win the Champions League without him. But I can't shake off the 3 years before that where it felt almost every single time PSG go out of the Champions League, his fingerprints are on the scene of every crime. Him and Marquinhos. Like, I'll never forget, I don't know if you remember it, against Real Madrid when Benzema did that comeback, right? The hat trick, down 2-0 on aggregate, he scores 3. Go look at the goals that Donnarumma is conceding. I mean, we talk about his shot stopping. I even think that at times is a little...
Is that not, like, are you just... That's one moment?
No, but I think there's numerous moments across his PSG career, and last season was almost like, this is the Donnarumma that at 16 years old we were promised.
So you're suspicious of what the truth is.
I'm not a huge... I can accept he was amazing last year, but I don't love him, to be honest with you. I don't. I see a lot of talk now. He's like he's Courtois level. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think Courtois is much better than he is. And I think for City as well too. I'm not in love with the fit either. I was listening to Jules as well too. Obviously, he watches PSG more than any of us. He's saying himself, like, for what Guardiola has always seemed to want in a goalkeeper, this is the antithesis of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think like Trafford could have done without that.
But you know what? This is where I don't like. Again, we're talking about social media being reactionary. The minute he does that pass, which is a terrible pass,
odd pass, wasn't it?
But minute he does that, everyone's saying Donnarumma. But has anyone watched Donnarumma play out from the back? And some people could say, oh, he would have gone long, right? But
yeah,
don't you think Trafford at Burnley would go long? Is it not instruction by Pep to play that pass or to attempt that pass?
Yeah, I found it. Look, I like Trafford, so you're not going to like hang him out to dry based on one pass.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of the point we're making is like you've got to have some real steel about you to sort of get through it. I think it's really hard to be a goalie and people not think that you're shaky these days.
Yeah.
Like I would say Courtois, Raya,
Alisson.
That's
the only 3 that I think are.
Sanchez, like everyone's, you're not feeling him, are you?
No, Onana's
like Vicario.
He's even at set pieces, I can't lie, just shaky for me. No, I agree with you.
I
think those 3 are the only 3 I'm like surefire about. Like,
yeah.
I like Mike Maignan in Milan, to be fair, but like those are the 3. I would agree. Yeah.
So I think it feels like because I think there's more facets to a goalkeeper than ever before.
Yeah.
So maybe it's one where you did make a couple of good saves there as well. And I mean, again, it's one game.
I think the Wolves game, I think was quite good.
But I think, like you said, there's only one. Surely it's time with Trafford. You've just brought him back. If you're gonna start committing to him, you commit to him.
That's the way I see it. Yeah, I think it would be extremely harsh to bring in Donnarumma and Trafford ends up as a backup. I think it would. I think he'd probably look at the situation too and say, "Well, I should have joined Newcastle. What am I doing here?"
So, breaking news. Let's say Donnarumma is signing for Man United.
Man United, okay.
What is the crux of your reaction to it? You're like,
My reaction is like it's not my money, so I can only care about the wages so much, even though I'm not a believer in breaking your wage structure over a 26-year-old goalkeeper. But we're like I'm a fan. We're a better team than we are yesterday. Like if we sign Donnarumma tomorrow, we're a better team than we are today.
Okay.
But I'm not in love with him. I'm not. I would rather try and find the next big goalkeeper than sign Donnarumma, to be honest. Easier said than done, though.
As I said, this was going to be a casual one, so we're all over the place, which is lovely. Hincapié.
Yeah.
Is being mooted. To
there's another buzzword that Weinstein and Fabrizio love. He's been mooted. Yeah.
He's God, I'm all over the place. I've got so many questions. That to me goes, Eze, like you're trying to create a bit more depth on that side. Don't totally trust Calafiori to stay fit, I feel. And you really want to allow Eze to. I think he's trying to find a way to fit in.
Yeah, because you need an overlapping fullback if Eze is going to be out on the left. Yeah. Do you think he will be their left winger, or do you actually see him playing more in midfield? Because I think if you play him in midfield, I thought about this. I think if you play him in midfield, I think he's a better 10 than he is a winger, even though as a winger, he will inevitably, like he's playing as a winger on paper, he will inevitably be playing in those 10 positions. But he's better off the left, like even in midfield. So does that mean Rice comes to the right, and then that kind of ruins that dynamic that he's built over there? It's a bit of a weird one. I think he probably will play off the wing, but then you need a fullback that is just constantly
I think that's the new thing. I'm like, ooh. I mean, Calafiori can do that, and I think Miles Lewis-Skelly can do that as well.
I think Miles is more of central, to be fair.
I get that.
I think he likes to play. I think, in fact, bringing in Hincapié, I believe we'll see Miles kind of transition more into midfield.
I mean, you can't fit them all in, though.
True, but I think Miles, I don't know. I know it's academy football, but I thought at academy football in midfield, he looked ridiculous in midfield, man.
So I think the obvious thing is that for now, and this is where that Hincapié makes me feel like he plays further. He plays out wide, starts out wide as that wide player, and kind of steps in maybe. Because I think what he wants to do is to suffocate a lot of the time, so you can then start him out further wide. I do just to chuck it out there's a different idea that might reveal itself in time.
Mm-hmm.
If Declan Rice kind of drops in a little bit, I can't. Odegaard's got to start delivering.
Hey, you don't have to tell me twice, man. I'm Odegaard. That's why I was asking you if Eze.
No, I presume that they're looking for that balance on both sides, where you've got two great players that you can play inside the block, and they can both do something.
Yeah.
But the more I'm watching of Odegaard, and maybe it's just because maybe you need someone like Eze to relieve that pressure of of chance creation.
Yeah.
Because I think someone like Martinelli, if you can get Eze in those areas, Martinelli will look better because Eze will suck players towards him, whereas Declan Rice doesn't really do that in the same way. But I think there would just be a lot more rotation and resting.
A lot more options. I think that's the beauty
but Odegaard on that right hand side. Now Eze's always been on the left.
Yes.
Was at QPR, was at Palace. But Declan Rice has to be in the team.
Mm-hmm.
And Zubimendi has to be in the team.
Maybe it becomes more of a 2 rather than a 1 with 2 in front of him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which I like, to be honest, for Rice. Rice has done a good job in this. It's a more advanced role for him, right? He's playing as an 8. But I do love Declan Rice in a double pivot where there's somebody who can take care of the first phase on the ball, things like Zubimendi, and then Rice is allowed to just roam. He's allowed to break up play. He's a 6 with the. I love Declan Rice in that role. Love it.
I'm not saying that's his wholehearted plan, but I wouldn't be surprised if he at least explored it in certain games, or once, or just once. No Odegaard and Eze, maybe in a slightly different role.
They got a pretty good opportunity to do so next weekend, right? Odegaard out the team.
Yeah. So you might have to go down that road.
I think one thing for sure is he has options now, but I also think competition breeds success. So this now is more pressure on Odegaard, but also now if Odegaard doesn't perform well enough, last season maybe you got to ride through with it because there's no one else. Now, if Odegaard goes through a few performances under the radar, you put Eze in there, you try something else. Maybe Nwaneri is another year older, you put him in that role.
Because I think as much as Eze likes to go that way, this lad, anywhere, give him the ball anywhere. That's the whole point of him.
Maverick.
I don't think, it's something been in my mind a lot. It's I watched Harry Brooks saying the difference between he doesn't do something and he can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying Eze can't play on that in that other half space. Shut up. It's rubbish. It's if Odegaard's not doing it, that's the thing I wonder with Arteta. Would he be brave enough? Because he's not stupid, Arteta. He's an amazing coach. Is is he looking at Odegaard quietly having a chat with the guys going, like, something's dropped off here?
Yeah.
Like, if the best team is Zubimendi, Rice, and Eze,
I think the armband makes it so difficult.
Yeah,
I feel
does
like
make it harder for sure.
That if he wasn't the captain, I think it's a much easier decision. I can't lie. I think, and I don't like all the talk like when we hear Tony Adams saying strip him of the armband, give it to Rice. The players actually voted to keep Odegaard as captain this summer, right?
Oh, really?
So that is he's clearly doing something right.
Well, they're having like a yearly vote.
I think it's similar to City a few years back, where like every year they re-vote on the 5-man leadership group. But
Right.
yeah, I believe I read somewhere that Odegaard was voted by the players to stay on as captain. I think I read, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, clearly, like, it's more than just what you see on the pitch, right? How are you in training? First to come, are you setting an example? Blah blah. But yeah, I feel like Odegaard at the moment, the performances are. He plays too safe for a creative midfielder. I think that's really the thing that
I think
irks
he's
me
in
a
his
little
own
bit.
head.
You reckon?
And I was thinking, you need a summer, you need a break.
Yeah.
Come back.
I actually thought against United, I didn't think he was that bad. I actually thought he was decent.
I thought he got into. Same with Mbeumo, like, he got the ball in okay areas and the crowd went, but nothing happened from there. And I was the same for Odegaard.
And I think that's the problem with Odegaard. Like, he finds himself in really dangerous situations, especially now with Gyökeres running off him, Saka on one side, Martinelli on the other side. It's almost like, if, for example, I think if Bruno was in that position, oh my God, it's a dream for him. Runners all along. But with Odegaard, I don't know. I feel like so many times I see him even look up and then spin out and play the safe pass. And I'm just like, you're a good player, very technically gifted, but I feel like you're almost more of a connector in midfield rather than someone who plays the final pass, the killer pass, like a De Bruyne, a la Bruno Fernandes, for example.
Yeah, that's it. I agree. I think not too nice. I think he's a bit low on swag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
whereas Eze comes in
because he's such a good soldier.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to worry about his work rate, or like he does. You know, he says he wants the ball and he wants to contribute. I just think and maybe that's what I mean. Maybe that bit of relief of pressure.
In the NBA, they obviously it's different, right? Because it's 5 players, so one player makes a difference, and sometimes you have like 4 guys around him who are just there for the ride, right? But in the NBA, there's this expression: are you a bus driver or are you a bus rider? So are you the guy like who's driving the bus, or are you kind of just like part of the team and contributing here and there, but you're not the guy, right? If I'm gonna take that into football, Saka's a bus driver, right? Declan Rice feels like a bus driver. Odegaard feels like a nice piece of the puzzle, but he isn't the vital piece. And if you're not the vital piece, then you can easily be interchanged with another one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think. Look, for me, I don't think it's. It's not like, well, that's the line. I'm here now. Like last year when there was a game where he came back and you could see how much he helped the team.
I think it was against West Ham, possibly away from home.
Yeah,
Saka looked really good together.
Yeah, it might have even been like a Man City or a Liverpool game where he put so much pressure on them.
Yeah,
but he's not a defender.
No.
So I think that's a good point as well. Like those moments when the crowd goes, that means if that doesn't work out, there's more opportunity. There's more opportunity for a bigger deflation. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the thing. I think a lot of Arsenal fans have reached that point with Odegaard where it's like,
come on now.
Yeah.
And that's it. The body of work that he'd built. If you think of that of like a balloon that you're just blowing up and up and up, he made this big thing, and everyone's like, this guy's great, and it's just sort of.
And it feels that way with Martinelli as well too. To be fair, right? He's not the only one. Martinelli also a few years back, 15 Premier League goals. You thought as well too. He's on the cusp of something great, and since then as well too, I think it's a similar feeling with Martinelli.
But that year when he was great, Xhaka was in the team.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I've been kind of saying instead of that left winger, I think Eze is the key, because I think Martinelli, you'll get those runs. Can you give it to him in the right spot? Like I feel like Eze can. I think you will see Martinelli's performances improve. But actually, it will be the fact that he'll just be getting the ball in better areas because players will be getting sucked towards you. Like there's.
Let's see. I mean, I'm hearing stuff that he might even be on the way out, Martinelli. They're talking about Saudi. I mean, they're linking him to Saudi every single day. But look,
trying to get the money.
I don't know with Martinelli, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Especially with Trossard, he just signed a new improved wage package, not an extension on his contract, but he's just getting paid more to reflect his role in the team. Madueke can play on the left now. Eze is on the left. I see Martinelli as the odd man out, to be honest with you. I think they can
make money from him.
Definitely as well too. But I think every project moves at a certain pace, and sometimes guys get left behind. Smith Rowe is the biggest example of that over the last few seasons, right? Like the project, just the trajectory became faster than his. I feel that Odegaard, Martinelli definitely, but I feel like Odegaard as well too is in danger of the team just getting way more competitive than he's able to keep up with.
I totally agree that I think he's in danger for sure.
Yeah.
I would just like to see it. I think you can get more from him and what he does with Eze in the team alongside it, as opposed to a Declan Rice who's maybe more going to be kind of looking this way. No, Eze will drive that way, but he's got those wing mirrors that he'll kind of keep someone like Martinelli on board. Did want to talk about Palace, just to finish this one off. They're going to be busy this week.
Yeah.
Need an Eze replacement. What's his name? Pino.
Jeremy Pino from Villarreal. Good player.
I quite like him.
Good
He's
player.
fun, isn't he?
And he'd be fun for Palace.
The other one is El Canouse, who has been flirting with, or linked to, he's probably not done anything wrong, Leeds, Spurs, who still need a 10.
Yeah.
And Palace as well.
If Spurs are petty, they go all in for El Canouse, man. Seriously. If they're petty, Palace, we're taking your guy.
Right. Yeah.
But they Spurs are in for. They went for Nico Paz the other day, and I think Nico Paz rejected them. I think he himself said, "No, I'd rather stay up at what's it called, Como, one more year, and then go back to Madrid in a year."
Yeah, because I think
but
he
they
still
bid
believes
70 million euros for him. Just so much money. Man.
I do like Paz though, but do you know what? That's why I was kind of talking about Eze. Is like that guy, that kind of guy.
Yeah.
There's not many of them.
Mavericks, man. That's the first of all, they're the guys that you pay the big money to go watch in the first place. But yeah, those are ultimately the guys that, especially as the game, again, we talk about it becomes more of a transition game. Those are the ones that make the difference. I feel like that kind of profile for a while left the game in some regard or became less important. But I do feel as the game now is becoming way more transition based, they all of a sudden have a newfound importance.
That's a great point with Odegaard as well. Is that I think those guys who are so good that they can be the calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
And by chaos, I mean that transition of going.
Yeah.
Odegaard, if you watch the great little passes that you see from him, it's often not as he's dribbling.
No.
I think he did one the other day where it might have been for it might have been the second goal or something, where he's there on the edge and he's waiting for it and he's kind of assessed it and then he's been able to see that pass and play it. Whereas like Palmer's and Paz and Eze and Canouse, I think, can do it too. Those players that can dribble and do that whilst it's all moving around you, those are at a bit of a premium. And El Canouse, no one's kind of gone for it yet. I think he would be a really good
like him, man. He was for me the one guy at Leicester last season I watched and thought, oh yeah, okay, in a what's it called, in a room full of weeds or whatever, you're like the one rose emerging from the ground. He looked impressive last season. I think, and look with Palace, I feel like no one does it better than them in terms of identifying talent at the smaller clubs. With all due respect to Leicester. Bringing them to their level, helping them grow into a top player, and then in 3 years he ends up going to a bigger team for 60 million. You look at Olise from Reading to Palace to Bayern, Eze now. I feel like El Canouse, it makes sense, man. I think he would be really good for them. I personally, my hot take at start of the season as well too, I said whether they lose Eze or Guehi, I actually think Palace will be okay this year.
What's okay?
In terms of, I don't see them dropping off massively. Like, I think they were capable of really pushing the season if they kept both of them, but I still expect them to be 10th, maybe like 9th, 10th, 11th. I think the way they're structured under Glasner, they're a top side, man.
I think the good thing is you know exactly what you need.
Exactly.
So I think they do need to go and get that, obviously. Like Devaney, I think his name was, played the game the other day. I thought he was good. He looked like a player who needed a year in the Championship. So the problem with that position, I've said before, is like if you're in the Championship and you're a good 10, you can't just go into the Premier League and be good enough. You've got to be the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's what the 10s are. So it is a solid jump. But I think El Canouse says you have seen those sparks. The problem for Palace as well, Palace fans were like this, there's lots of 10s at Brighton.
Yeah.
But you can't really
get any of them.
You can't really tread down that path. Like Buonanotte would be an option.
I mean, and Ciso just went to Blue, he went to Blueco. He didn't go to Chelsea or Strasbourg. He went to, when I seen that, I said, wow, this is not the sport I know, man.
Yeah.
Blueco have signed Enciso.
Is that legal?
That's like when Tevez used to be owned by that agency. Like, we just loaned him from that agency. What's going on,
man? Right, we'll probably cut this in half.
Yeah.
Do you need a loo? Do you need a drink?
I get an actual water, not this woke nonsense, man. Coconut water,
right,
seriously.
That's going in the bin. Liaz, thank you very much for the first half. We're going to talk Man United in just a second. Guys, make sure you follow the podcast so that we can get great guests like Liaz on the podcast. There's a link to Liaz's channel in the description. And yeah, follow us and click all the buttons and help us keep growing. Thanks for watching.
Yes,
Make sure you don't miss the second pod, which will be out later this week.
Man United, man, you can't miss.
Exactly.
All right, let's get there.